Thank you for coming to our 4th annual Fox Cities Financial Makeover Challenge Awards program. I'm Lisa Hintz. I work at Lakeview Credit Union, and we've been involved with the Financial Makeover Challenge program of the Money Smart Week Fox Cities Committee since the beginning. The premise behind the challenge is to have families of the Fox Cities compete to get on track to meet their financial goals, whether that be to increase savings, reduce debt, or simply get a better handle on spending. The competitive nature of the challenge helps folks overcome the potential discomfort of participating in a somewhat public review of their financial situation. After all, the winner of the Financial Makeover Challenge is awarded $3,500, and the runners-up each get $750. So it provides a little incentive to do the work of getting the application taken care of and taking that first step. While the participants' stories and goals are diverse, the benefit of working with a counselor is universal. In fact, in a recent online Time Moneyland article, one financial literacy survey found 80% of adults said they could benefit from the advice of a professional when it comes to everyday financial decisions. 80%. Well, our 4 families have made tremendous progress in only 4 months of working with a fiscal counselor and focusing attention on their finances. As a group, the total amount of debt paid down for these 4 families is more than $26,500. And the new savings totals more than $44,200. That is absolutely fantastic, so job well done. All right, on to our program. Bob Peterson has 2 very different job titles within the same organization. He even carries 2 sets of business cards. Bob is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Goodwill Industries of North Central Wisconsin. That's his official title. But the Goodwill title he enjoys using the most is that of Chief Visionary and Storyteller. By weaving stories into his presentations, Bob motivates, enlightens, and entertains his audiences. Bob has been with Goodwill since 1991. However, his nonprofit leadership experience spans more than 40 years throughout his professional career. In addition to his degree in communications and psychology, Bob has an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Bob?
I dream a lot. And not only do I dream a lot about Goodwill in business, but I also actually literally dream a lot. And one of the dreams that I have that occurs probably 2 or 3 times a year is that I'm caught somewhere in public in my skivvies. And I'm trying to, first of all, figure out how on earth did that happen, and secondarily, what am I going to do about it? And one of the things that I know about people who have the courage to talk about their finances is it's kind of like being caught in public with your skivvies, because one of the very last things that we want to talk about as people is our financial lives, because we tend to be private people. We tend to be people who are proud. We tend to be people who don't want to expose the fact that we have some fallible parts of our lives where we may be out of control or upside down. And so that whole being caught in public with your skivvies thing is exactly what it's like when people take the time to gather up the courage to come in and talk with a counselor and to get involved in a contest like the one that we're experiencing here. But additionally, just to come in and be a part of an experience that alters and changes your life forever. And that's what happens when people meet counselors at Fisk. Because they've known them, they have been changed for good and hopefully forever, because the skill sets that Fisk delivers to people and the kind of basic formula that has been a part of this contest for the last several years is all about making it possible for people to have a future and to have a life and to pass that opportunity on to their children. And hopefully, moms and dads will sit down with sons and daughters and talk about what it means to be responsible, to formulate a financial future, what the tools are that help you do that, what kind of discipline it takes to make that happen. And so it's a real joy for me to be here today and to see these wonderful families and to realize that they've taken the first step in a journey that, if they continue, will ensure that their children will have a safe and sound and secure future.
And then the presenter of this year's winner is none other than last year's challenge winner, Melanie Marash. And before announcing the winner, Melanie's going to share a little bit of her story about the benefit of participating in the Financial Makeover Challenge and the wonderful work that the folks at Fisk do. So, Melanie?
Thank you very much. To all the families that are involved in this year's challenge, I congratulate you because you've already taken a huge leap into the rest of your life without stress. I can't guarantee no stress, but it has been wonderful. When I won the award last year, my son and I won the award, we also already felt like we were winners because we were so far ahead. I just never thought that I would be where I was then and where I am now. It's been wonderful. My son is 14 years old. He'll be a freshman next year, and he learned a lot alongside me through the process, thanks to the counselors. But really, for all of you, you are on such a good road right now. You are in such a good place, and it's only going to get better. What I would like to say to you, recommend to you, is that you keep these habits. Don't lose them. Continue to do the things that you've learned through Fisk and use them and teach other people as best you can to do the same thing, because your savings is going to grow. You're going to be able to do the things you didn't think that you could do. You're going to be able to pay off, as some of you found out, emergencies, things that come up. It's just such a relief. And Goodwill and Fisk did this for you. They did this for me. And I just applaud you all, for families, for what you've done. Fantastic job. Enough about me. You're all here to learn who the winners are. You're all winners. First, the runner-up name is Amy and Nate Daly. If you could come on up with your family. And I failed to mention that all of the runner-ups get $750. Congratulations. Next, I'd like to announce Angela and Steve Westerhouse, another $750 family winner. The next $750 winning family is Christopher and Sandra Cavillion.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And that leaves our winners this year as Joe and Jessica Placek. Congratulations.
Well, I was honored to be able to work with Joe and Jessica Placek in this year's Financial Makeover Challenge. It truly has been an amazing experience. Joe and Jess are a young couple who have faced their share of adversity. One of the main issues that I saw was actually a low savings balance and actually a lack of a budget. They were living paycheck to paycheck and were concerned that they would not be able to develop a plan that includes saving for unexpected expenses or those less frequent expenses, and also repay their debts as well. This issue is actually very common among Americans today. In fact, over 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. From the moment this challenge began, Joe and Jess have been very committed to this challenge. But they attended the Power of Money workshop, and they describe it as a huge stress reliever. As a result of the workshop and their dedication, Joe and Jess now have the cash envelope system, and they no longer worry about whether they've paid their bills because they no longer live paycheck to paycheck. Another major concern they had was whether they'd be viewed as a failure for coming in for financial counseling. But they realized that if they were to ever succeed financially, that they needed to make a change, and they had to take action. They had to stop talking about it. I'm very proud of the changes that Joe and Jess have made. As they promised, they've accomplished every goal that they set on December 20th, and including the one that allowed Jess to reduce her hours from 50 per week to 32 so that she could be at home more with their son Easton. I am very honored to introduce Joe and Jess Plasick.
I'm not really sure how I can follow up my own story. Matt said it perfectly. We started to join FIST because what we were doing wasn't working. We had talked and talked and talked about doing something. And luckily we talked and finally took action at just the right time because I believe, as Jenny put it, you have 3 days to get your application in. So it worked really well. Our biggest challenges was that we were living paycheck to paycheck. We had incurred a lot of credit card debt, and we were constantly using them. We talked to Matt, and Matt advised not using them. And we went to Power Money, and Ron basically scared us from ever using a credit card again. In fact, I pull out my debit card knowing that there is money in the account, and I'm still scared to use it. They were great. Our biggest challenge was we enrolled into a debt management plan, and when we started, we had little to no savings. So our biggest fear was, what happens if something happens? Today, we haven't used a credit card since the challenge started. In fact, Matt has them all shredded in a bag in his office. And we have a savings where we don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. Our journey isn't over. We have a long way to go, but we finally have a plan. I'd like to thank Matt, who's tremendous at helping us, and Ron and everyone at FISC. To sum up our whole story, Jess and I, when we started this challenge, we weren't in it to win the money. We just wanted a plan and to get out of debt. The farther along we got into the process, we wanted to win because of all the sacrifices we were making. But now, standing here at the end, we see how much we've saved, how much debt we've paid off, and the plan that we have, and realize that we've already won and that we are well on our way. So thank you all very much for allowing me.